As promised. Oh, I can take it off now as well. As promised.
Good evening, everyone.
Here we are, live at the Palais Hansen Kempinski
In Vienna.
In Vienna, for a very special reading of 1001 Nights, which we don't normally do on a Saturday. But this evening, what's special about it?
We are invited, we are actually honored to be able to be part of the European Theatre Night,
Exactly.
the Europäische Theaternacht.
You say it so beautifully.
Thank you
I
so
could have said
much.
it better myself. I think we should become talk show hosts.
No, we shouldn't. I don't want to do that.
All right. I'm sorry, what can I say? All right, well, that was the end of that conversation. You know, in improv, they always say, never say no. Right,
Yeah.
now what we're going to do, we're going to introduce what we do.
Exactly.
Go for it.
Well, my name is Saman Gerard.
I am Joanna Godwin-Seidel. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
We're part of the Vienna Theatre Project. And
During the first lockdown,
exactly in March 2020,
we got on the phone to each other and discovered that we both wanted to read 1001 Nights. Saman initially in German and me in English. And then we had this crazy idea, well, let's do it together. Why not? Because we happen to like each other quite a lot, don't we?
we do.
And so we started reading, then the lockdown was over, and did we stop reading?
We did not stop reading
did not
because
stop reading.
we do believe in the concept of oneness in the world, and depending on where you are in the world, we decided to continue reading for people who are in lockdown, maybe at a later point in time. And
Like we are now.
Exactly, we are in our second lockdown.
For those of you who are not living in Vienna, Vienna is currently in a second lockdown, but we found all sorts of red tape that we could circumvent to be able to be here this evening and make it Of course, we have to wear masks everywhere we walk at the moment.
Yes.
And we're going to disappear in a minute. Why are we going to disappear in a minute?
Because we are going to introduce and actually premiere the music for 1001 Nights composed by Kamyav Saderi, and Bijan is going to accompany him on the guitar. And before doing that, we would like to thank again the Hansen Kempinski for their trust in us.
Thank you so much.
For knowing that we are responsible, that we do go by the guidelines that are required, that we do take care of each other and of everyone else, of course. We also would like to thank Tiberius.
Yes, thank you very much for the
beautiful dresses, as you can see.
Yes, very much.
And we would like to thank Mr. Robert Newald, who is a wonderful photographer who really made the time with the mask and the photo equipment to come here to quickly take a few pictures of us that we are going to post next week.
We will, and when I say quickly, he had no lights, nothing, and it's quite dark in the hotel at the moment because they do have, thank you very much for the hearts, they do have guests in here because they're allowed to have business guests, of course, but otherwise the hotel is a little bit empty at the moment, which is a little bit sad, I have to say, but we decided we wanted to also bring some life to it, and we're very, very grateful that they let us do that. And I think we should, yes, in our Tiberius dresses, we should waft off.
As you usually say, without further
ado.
Yes.
Without further ado, I will, yes, children.
We are going to leave the room and
see
see you in a bit.
Get your mask.
Yes, I put it somewhere.
See? Always be prepared.
I'm going to, it's over there. I'm going to pick it up.
Right. Okay.
We shall see you in a minute.
Enjoy
the music.
Bye. Bye.
Hi everyone, and good evening. Okay, my name is Kamyav Saderi, and my friend, his name is Bijan.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's my guitarist. We composed this. He helped me in compose this album, and now already 4 songs is done and finished for recording all of it. But we wait for compose all this album and then release it. But today we wanna play 4 songs in this album, especially for this project, and I hope you like it. first song, the name of first song is You, and enjoy it.
تو را من چشم در راهم شب هنگام که میگریم در شاخ طلا سایه ها رنگ سیاهی از آن دلخستگانت راست اندوهی فراهم تو را من چشم در راهم تو را من چشم در راهم شبانگام در آن دم که بر جا درها چون مرد ماران خفتگانند در آن نوبت که بندد دست نیلوفر به پای سرو کوهی دام را گرم یاد آوری یا نه من از یادت نمی کاهم تو را من چشم در راهم تو را من چشم در راهم تو را من چشم در راهم
I hope you like it, and you can write and for your comment or like it when you like it. Okay, next song. The name of the next song is Persian name, and I can't translate it because it's so hard and I don't know really. Okay, next song. The name of it's Dard Bi Darman, and I hope you like it.
Okay, can you go a little?
No.
درد بی درمان شنیدی حال من یعنی همین بی تو بودن درد دارد میزند من را زمین میزند بی تو مرا این خاطرات روز و شب درد پیگیر من است سب و العلاج یعنی همین میزند بی تو مرا این خاطرات روز و شب درد پیگیر من است سبالعلاج من.
This one is for now, and after Joanna and Saman, we played two more
yeah.
for you, and this ballad. So,
Wasn't that beautiful? Now when it was the 210th night, she said, "It hath reached me, auspicious king, that when King Armanus had agreed with his daughter on this wise, and had determined what course he would take, and night came on, Queen Budur arose from the throne of the kingdom, and betaking herself to the palace, entered the apartment prepared for her. There she found the wax candles lighted, and the Princess Hayat al-Nufus seated and awaiting her. Whereupon she bethought her of her husband and what had betided them both, of sorrow and severance in so short a space. She wept and sighed and groaned groan upon groan, and began improvising these couplets. News of my love fill all the land, I swear, as suns on Ghazal woe, rain heat and glare. Speaketh his jest, but hard its sense to say, thus never cease to grow my cark and care. I hate fair patience, since I love thee. Ever sawest lover hate for love to bear? A glance that dealt love sickness dealt me death. Glances are deadliest things, with torments rare. He shook his lovelocks down and bared his chin, whereby I spied his beauties, dark and fair. My care, my cure are in his hands, and he who caused their dolours can their dole repair. His belt went daft for softness of his waist, his hips for envy to uprise forbear. His brow curl diadem is murky night, unveiled, and lo, bright morn shows brightest light. When she had finished her versifying, she would have risen to pray, but lo and behold, Hayat al-Nufus caught her by the skirt and clung to her, saying, "O my lord, art thou not ashamed before my father, after all his favour, to neglect me at such a time as this?" When Queen Budur heard her words, she sat down in the same place and said, "O my beloved, what is this thou sayest?" She replied, "What I say is that I never saw any so proud of himself as thou. Is every fair one so disdainful? I say not this to incline thee to me. I say it only of my fear for thee from King Armanus. because he purposeth, unless thou go in unto me this very night, and do away my maidenhead, to strip thee of the kingship on the morrow, and banish thee his kingdom. And peradventure his excessive anger may lead him to slay thee. But I, O my Lord, have ruth on thee, and give thee fair warning, and it is thy right to wreck. Now when Queen Budur heard her speak these words, she bowed her head groundwards a while in sore perplexity, and said in herself, if I refuse, I'm lost, and if I obey, I'm shamed. But I am now queen of all the Ebony Islands, and they are under my rule, nor shall I ever again meet my Kamar al-Zaman, save in this place. For there is no way for him to his native land but through the Ebony Islands. Verily, I know not what to do in my present case, but I commit my care to Allah, who directeth all for the best. For I am no man that I should arise and open this virgin girl. Then quoth Queen Budur to Hayat al-Nufus, O my beloved, that I have neglected thee and abstained from thee is in my own despite. And she told her a whole story, from beginning to end, and showed her person to her, saying, I conjure thee by Allah to keep my counsel, for I have concealed my case only that Allah may reunite me with my beloved, Kamar al-Zaman, and then come what may. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say.
Now, when it was the 211th night, she said, it has reached me, O auspicious king, that when Lady Budur acquainted Hayat al-Nufus with her history and bade her keep it secret, the princess heard her with extreme wonderment and was moved to pity and prayed Allah to reunite her with her beloved, saying, fear nothing, O my sister, but have patience till Allah bring to pass that which must come to pass. And she began repeating, none but the men of worth a secret keep, with worthy men a secret's hidden deep, as in a room no secrets lie with me, whose door is sealed, lock, shot, and lost, the lovey. And when Hayat al-Nufus had ended her verses, she said, O my sister, verily, the breasts of the noble and brave are the secrets of the grave, and I will not discover thine. Then they toyed and embraced and kissed, and slept till near the Muezzin's call to dawn prayer, when Hayat al-Nufus arose and took a pigeon poult and cut its throat over her smock and besmeared herself with its blood. Then she pulled off her petticoat, trousers, and cried aloud, whereupon her people hastened to her and raised the usual lully-looings upon her and outcries of joy and gladness. Presently, her mother came in to her and asked her how she did, and busied herself about her and abode with her till evening, whilst the Lady Budur arose with the dawn and repaired to the bath, and, after washing herself pure, proceeded to the hall of audience, where she sat on her throne and dispensed justice among the folk. Now, when King Armanos heard the loud cries of joy, he asked what was the matter, and was informed of the consummation of his daughter's marriage. Whereat he rejoiced, and his breast swelled with gladness, and he made a great marriage feast, whereof the merrymaking lasted a long time. Such was their case. But as regards King Shahriman, it was on this wise. After his son had fared forth to the chase, accompanied by Marzawan, as before related, he tarried patiently, awaiting their return at nightfall. But when his son did not appear, he passed a sleepless night, and the dark hours were longsome upon him. His restlessness was excessive, his excitement grew upon him, and he thought the morning would never dawn. And when day broke, he sat, expecting his son, and waited till noon. But he came not. Whereat his heart forebode separation, and was fired, and he wept till his clothes were drenched with tears, and repeated with a beating heart, Love's votaries I cease not to oppose, till doomed to taste love's bitter and love's sweet. I drained his rigger cup to very dregs, self-humbled at its slave and freeman's feet. Fortune had sworn to part the loves of us. She kept her word, how truly. Well, I weet. And when he ended his verse, he wiped away his tears and bade his troops make ready for a march and prepare for a long expedition. So they all mounted and set forth, headed by the Sultan, whose heart burnt with grief and was fired with anxiety for his son, Kamar al-Zaman. And they advanced by forced marches. Now the king divided his host into 6 divisions, a right wing and a left wing, a vanguard and a rear guard, and bade them rendezvous for the morrow at the crossroads. Accordingly they separated and scoured the country all the rest of that day till night, and they marched through the night, and at noon of the ensuing day they joined company at the place where 4 roads met. But they knew not which the prince followed, till they saw the sign of torn clothes, and sighted shreds of flesh, and beheld blood still sprinkled by the way, and they noted every piece of the clothes and fragment of mangled flesh scattered on all sides. Now, when King Shahriman saw this, he cried from his heart core and aloud, saying, Alas, my son, and buffeted his face, and plucked his beard, and rent his raiment, doubting not but his son was dead. Then he gave himself up to excessive weeping and wailing, and the troops all wept for his weeping, all being assured that Prince Kamar al-Zaman had perished. They threw dust on their heads, and the night surprised them shedding tears and lamenting till they were like to die. Then the king, with a heart on fire and with burning sighs, spake these couplets. Chide not the mourner for bemourning woe, enough is yearning every ill to show. He weeps for stress of sorrow and of pain, and these to thee best evidence his love. Happy of whom love's sickness swore that ne'er should cease his eyelids loving tears to flow. He mourns the loss of fairest, fullest moon, shining o'er all his peers in glorious glow. But death may drink a brimming cup what day he fared from natal country fain to go. His home left he, and went from us to grief, nor to his brethren could he say adieu. Yea, his loss wounded me with parting pangs, and separation cost me many a throe. He fared, farewelling, as he fared our eyes, whenas his Lord vouchsafed him paradise. And when King Shahriman had ended his verses, he returned with the troops to his capital. And Scheherazade perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say.
Now when it was the 212th night, she said, "It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that when King Shahriman had ended his verses, he returned with the troops to his capital, giving up his son for lost, and deeming that wild beasts of banditti had set upon him and torn him to pieces, and made proclamation that all in the Khalidan Islands should don black in mourning for him. Moreover, he built in his memory a pavilion, naming it House of Lamentation. And on Mondays and Thursdays, he devoted himself to the business of the state and ordering the affairs of his levies and lieges, and the rest of the week he has wont to spend in the House of Lamentations, mourning for his son and bewailing him with elegiac verses, of which the following are some. My day of bliss is that when thou appearest, my day of bale is that whereon thou farest. Though through the night I quake in dread of death, union with thee is of all bliss the dearest. And again he said, my soul be sacrificed for one whose going afflicted hearts with sufferings sore and dread. Let joy her widowed turn fulfill, for I divorce joy with the divorce thrice said. Such was the case with King Shahriman, but as regards Queen Budur, daughter of King Ghayur, she abode as ruler in the Ebony Islands, whilst the folk would point to her with their fingers and say, yonder is the son-in-law of King Amenos. And every night she lay with Hayat al-Nufus, to whom she lamented her desolate state and longing for her husband, Kamar al-Zaman, weeping and describing to her his beauty and loveliness, and yearning to enjoy him, though but in a dream. And at times she would repeat, well, Allah wots that since my severance from thee, I wept till forced to borrow tears at usury. Patience, my blamer cried, heart's ease right soon shalt see. Quoth I, say, blamer, where may home of patience be? This is how it fared with Queen Budur. But as regards Kamar Zaman, he abode with the gardener in the garden for no short time, weeping night and day, and repeating verses bewailing the past time of enjoyment and delight, whilst the gardener kept comforting him and assuring him that the ship would set sail for the land of the Muslims at the end of the year. And in this condition he continued till one day he saw the folk crowding together and wondered at this. But the gardener came in to him and said, O my son, give over work for this day, nor lead water to the trees, for it is a festival day, whereon folk visit one another. So take thy rest, and only keep thine eye on the garden, whilst I go look after the ship for thee. For yet but a little while, and I send thee to the land of the Muslims. Upon this he went forth from the garden, leaving to himself Kamar al-Zaman, who fell to musing upon his case till his heart was like to break and the tears streamed from his eyes. So he wept with excessive weeping until he swooned away, and when he recovered, he rose and walked about the garden, pondering what time had done with him, and bewailing the long endurance of his estrangement and separation from those he loved. As he was thus absorbed in melancholy thought, he foot stumbled and he fell on his face, his forehead striking against the projecting root of a tree, and the blow cut it open, and his blood ran down and mingled with his tears. Then he rose and, wiping away the blood, dried his tears and bound his brow with a piece of rag, then continued his walk about the garden, engrossed by sad reverie. Presently he looked up at a tree and saw two birds quarrelling thereon, and one of them rose up and smote the other with its beak on the neck, and severed from its body its head, wherewith it flew away, whilst the slain bird fell to the ground before Kamar Zaman. As it lay, behold, two great birds swooped down upon it alighting, one at the head and the other at the tail. And both drooped their wings and bowed the bills over it, and extending their necks towards it wept. Kamar Zaman also wept when seeing the birds thus bewail their mate, and called to mind his wife and father. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased to say her permitted say.
Now, when it was the 213th night, she said, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, that Kamar al-Zaman wept and lamented his separation from spouse and sire, when he beheld those two birds weeping over their mate. Then he looked at the twain, and saw them dig a grave and therein bury the slain bird, after which they flew away far into the firmament and disappeared for a while. But presently they returned with the mother bird, and, alighting on the grave of the mother, stamped on the slayer till they had done him to death. Then they rent his belly, and tearing out his entrails, poured the blood on the grave of the slain. Moreover, they stripped off his skin, and tear his flesh in pieces, and pulling out the rest of the bowels, scattered them hither and thither. All this while, Kamar al-Zaman was watching them wonderingly, but presently, chancing to look at the place where the two birds had slain the third, he saw therein something gleaming. So he drew near to it and noticed that it was the crop of the dead bird, whereupon he took it and opened it and found the talisman which had been the cause of his separation from his wife. But when he saw it and knew it, he fell to the ground a fainting for joy, and when he revived, he said, "Praised be Allah. This is a foretaste of good and a presage of reunion with my beloved." Then he examined the jewel and passed it over his eyes, after which he bound it to his forearm, rejoicing in coming weal, and walked about till nightfall, awaiting the gardener's return. And when he came not, he lay down and slept in his wonted space. At daybreak he arose to work, and, girding his middle with a cord of palm fibre, took hatchet and basket, and walked down the length of the garden till he came to a carob tree, and struck the axe into its roots. The blow rang and resounded. So he cleared away the soil from the place and discovered a trapdoor and raised it. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. That was just in time because it's paused due to poor connection on Instagram.
Yes.
We've been having terrible problems with Instagram. We do apologise to everybody. Wow, that's exciting.
That was
a trapdoor.
beautiful. Yes.
Trapdoor.
If you'd
That's
like
gonna
to
be
know
exciting.
how the story continues, please tune in next week. We do read from Tuesday to Friday.
We do.
And we alternate, and
9
it's fun.
p.m.
9 p.m.
And-
at the Vienna Theatre Project Facebook
Exactly.
page.
And normally, for those of you with us for the first time, oh, hello, welcome back, Instagram. We're really sorry about the poor connection. For those of you, because I think we're going to finish with
Yes.
Kamiab and Big
Yes,
tonight,
yes,
right?
definitely.
So we will say our things now,
Yes.
and then we'll move on,
Mhm.
shall we? Yes.
Okay.
So for those of you who've joined us for the very first time, as Samantha said, we read Tuesday to Friday at 9 p.m. Normally, actually, in our own homes, from our living rooms. The lighting is very expensive, isn't it?
It is.
We spare no expenses for our lighting. We'd love to have some great lighting though, and we'd love to be able to
Yes.
spruce it all up a little bit, wouldn't we?
So, if you'd like to support us, please go on the Vienna Theatre Facebook page. There's a PayPal account. Donations are appreciated. As you all know, our industry is the first one to close down, the last one
Always,
to open up,
exactly.
as usual.
Ohne Kunst und Kultur
Wird es still.
wird es still.
Which basically means without arts and culture, it gets quiet.
Exactly. So www.paypal.me/Vienna Theatre Project.
Link will be on the video.
The link will be on the
We
video.
would like to
exactly.
thank the European Theatre Night for
Europäische Theaternacht for
Europäische
taking us on to that programme.
Exactly. Thank you again to the Hotel Hansen Kempinski in Vienna for their
Wonderful,
trust,
wonderful.
for their support, for the staff to help us.
Exactly, and just to remind you, we are filming today from the spa at the Kempinski
Hotel,
which has a very beautiful Middle Eastern and African flair to it. And I happen to know that you can come here as well and book a day in the spa if you want to, and they have massage and they have a fitness centre.
But you do need to double check first whether it's possible at this
exactly.
current moment.
At the moment you can't. And in normal
Yes,
situations
you
you
can.
can.
We would also like to thank Tiberius again.
We would definitely like to thank Tiberius
For
very
the
much
outfits.
for the beautiful outfits. Mine, look how it flows, lovely. It's like oil.
Mine
Isn't it
is a
lovely?
two-piece, like the beautiful genie.
It is. Although
Right?
it used to be a one-piece, didn't it?
Yes, and thank you Tiberius anyways. And we
Sorry,
would
there's
like
an insider
to.
joke with that.
It's all right. So we are going to cut it short because we would like to bring Kamiab Sadiri and Bijan back to perform a few other songs from the new album that was composed in honor of our wonderful project. So we are very, very excited about this.
And I'm going to say many salams to you and many blessings and goodbye from me.
And I will say, as usual, remember to go inwards instead of outwards. And I will see you next week. Thanks again. Much love to you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Hello again. Okay. Okay. This song, the name of this song, it's Heimat in Deutsch, in German. It's Heimat, and we composed it because we missed so much our home, and we composed this song. I hope you like it.
Hope you enjoy it.
Okay. Next song it's Demi Bogam. That's the Persian too, and for translating it's so hard again. But Demi Bogam, yeah, the name of the song.
دمی با غم به سر بردن جان یک سر نمیرسد به می بفروش در قمار کسی بهتر نمیرسد به کوی می فروشانش به جانی بر نمیگیرند زی سجاد تقوا که به یک ساغر شکوه تاج سلطانی که بیم جان در او درج است کلاهی دلکش سما به ترک سر نمیارزد چه آسان می نمود اول غم دریا به بوی سود غلط کردم که این طوفان به صد گوهر نمیارزد
And I hope to see you again. Thank you for coming in our live, in our project. I love this project. I love who you like as well. Yeah.
And it was my pleasure that I'm playing here, and I hope to see you again, and have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye bye.
Thank you.